Good evening and welcome to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. I'm a fellow of Royal Institute of Canada, broker of record for City Pro Realty Inc. brokerage. You're watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. Today's topic is consequences of failed deal. Recently, last 48 hours, I have received two requests for help from a real estate professional as well as consumers. So without naming this issue, I want to point out to you how important it is that when you are negotiating an agreement of purchase and sale and you create an obligation to buy a property and you give consideration an amount that you agree with the conditions, and you set certain time frame, date and time in your agreement of purchase and sale to deliver your funds through your lawyer to the seller's lawyer. So you have created a legal obligation when you sign an agreement of purchase and sale. So what happened is that the buyer has established a completion date in the agreement of purchase and sale, which is a clause 2 on agreement of purchase and sale, which is URIA form 100, that every realtor will use that. So prior to reaching that point, the buyer had requested a time extension and the seller has willingly gave time extension, not only few days, but a month and a half or two. And then on the revised date, the transaction did not complete. The seller decided not to give the property to the buyer. The reason is that when you search the property in the marketplace, the property has escalated $200,000 or $225,000 more than what property was sold for this particular seller. So in order to get that time extension in the beginning, the buyer has to give additional deposit. So very significant deposit for a first-time home buyer. So they called me and asked me, what shall we do? And I told them, seek the advice of the lawyer. In terms of agreement of purchase and sale, they have breached the agreement but not delivering the funds as required. I'm going to point out those clauses in the agreement of purchase and sale. So if you're a realtor or you're a consumer who are in a process of buying a property, so make sure you focus on those clauses, what they really mean, and what are the obligations. This happens when the money is not arriving on the date and time. There are a couple of things that we want to address that, to make sure our realtors are doing their part. They're consulting with the lawyer to make sure they put appropriate clauses to protect the consumer, which is a buyer representation. In this case, the buyer is on the hook. So first important thing that I will want to check, which I asked them to see, when they put the clause, when they put the offer, was there a condition subject that if the bank or lawyer or registry office is closed, is not accessible, or the money from the lender is not delivered on time, there should be a clause, a condition in the offer which was negotiated that they will be willing to cooperate, or seller may delay for 1 or 2 days for some reason, they be able to accommodate each other. This clause is normally put in there. I'm going to read the clause that I drafted for my client. The buyer and seller agrees if buyer's bank or mortgage lender or the applicable land registry of a temporary ceases operations, such as that either party is frustrated from completing this transaction for reason wholly outside the control of the party, then the closing date shall be automatically extended to the date that is 2 days following the resumption of the interrupted bank or land registry services, and both seller and buyer agree to cooperate to complete the transaction at the earliest possible date. This shall remain of the essence of any extended closing date as a result of this clause. So that means you as a realtor has protected your client in case if there is a delay for a day or two from the bank to deliver the funds. In this particular complaint, it was funding was coming next day, not the day of the closing. But the seller lawyer said that because we gave you time extension before, and if you did not arrange the funding for last 5 months, how is possible to get that fund now and close the deal? So they put a notice, they tender a notice, which is under the section of the, I would say, tender section 21, clause 21 of the agreement of purchase and sale, form 100. And I read to you that any tender of documents or money hereunder may be made upon seller or buyer to their respected lawyers on the day set for completion. Money shall be tendered with funds drawn on a lawyer's trust account in the form of a bank draft, certified check, or wire transfer using the large value transfer system. So that means on that day, funds should have been transferred to the sellers. So because there is other clause, we talk about the documents, closing documents. So there is section 11, clause 11, closing arrangement. Number 10 is title. They need to search the title to make sure this is the same owner. There is no easement or lien on the title before they transfer the transaction. This is important. So because seller has to discharge the current mortgages in order to receive the money from the buyer and then discharge the mortgages so they can, the seller can, the buyer can register their own mortgage on their transaction which they bought. So there is a deed transfer and there is a charge placed on the property on behalf of the lender. So this is why it's very important to have this transaction. In this case, this didn't happen. Number two, sometime I have noticed that some realtors put a clause in the Schedule B says that if once the conditions are removed and the deal is firm, the buyer agrees to forfeit the deposit. I asked them to check this clause and also consult with their lawyer. Then I was able to invite a lawyer to come online and give advice to this party. Problem again is that when you are not fulfilling your commitment. So if you look at this, your agreement of purchase and sale, you have to read everything complete, not only the money, not only the deposit, because deposit is part of the total purchase price, but also the Schedule A, B, C, or whatever there, because they become integral part of the agreement. There could be assignment clause, there could be issue with the septic tank, could be environmental issues, many issues. Or home inspection, they found something which is not good. These are the conditions that you put in. With the bidding war that is going on, people are making mistakes. They are giving a firm offer, ignoring this. In this case, this transaction took place in November and is in May and is closing in November a couple of days ago, but it didn't close. So now issue is, would they be able to get deposit? But the seller's lawyer definitely sent a letter to the buyers, you will forfeit your deposit, which is a significant amount for a single mother and a first-time home buyer. It's really bad on part of this transaction that a deal went that long, even though they obtained another mortgage, time extension for the mortgage. This is why it's very, very important when you are crafting your agreement of purchase and sale offer for your client. Please always talk to your lawyer to make sure you get advice, you put the proper clauses to make sure if you are not able to fulfill the condition, you are able to back out. in this case, if the mortgage was not arranged at the first time, why the deal was firmed? That's the other question comes to me. Now, if you look at that Real Estate Business Broker Act, Ontario Regulation 580-/05 Code of Ethics, it talks about best interest, Section 4, best interest of the client. So when you are meeting, I have repeatedly, many times, talk about the first-time home buyers. It's so critical to mentally prepare them what to expect in the buying process and make sure they have funds. In this particular case, they arrange a third party, a second mortgage to pay the closing costs. When you are arranging a second mortgage for a closing cost, that's a sign of concern. That means the buyer is not financially prepared to commit to that transaction, or is going to get in trouble after moving into the property. Because if they don't have set aside fund, not only down payment, deposit is a small portion of the transaction. The real money is the total down payment based on which a lender will give you the mortgage. If you are not able to arrange funding, the down payment, you also have to arrange closing costs. In this case, one of the representative called me and says, oh, we still need $27,000 more for this transaction. I'm just giving you an example. So that means even though it could have been extended or again beyond certain time, they did not have the fund to close the deal. So imagine that a realtor's responsibility as a competent professional. We talk about Section 5 of conscientious and competent services, which is Section 5 of the Code of Ethics of Real Estate Business Broker Act. How can you get your buyer in this position when they don't even have the funds allocated for the closing costs? They don't have a mortgage, condition has been removed. So what's going on here? This is why it's very important, especially for consumer. When you are hiring a real estate professional, check it out. Talk to some friends. Go to institutions. I'm a fellow of Real Estate Institute of Canada. I'm a certified real estate specialist. I have 7 designations in real estate. And my cost of doing business is exactly the same you pay to any realtors. We are also realtor. I am also realtor, but I'm also FRI, CRES, CIPS, SRES, SRS, and ABR. These are additional qualification or designation that I obtained to increase my knowledge to help and deliver a valuable services. So you are making the most expensive financial decision of your life, and you are not looking at searching. Visit Real Estate Institute of Canada website. Look for FRIs across Canada. You will find people. And obviously when you are asking someone, check it out. Make sure you're educated. Go to realtycoffeetalk.com. I have put all the episode that we are broadcasting Awaz Entertainment in one place. realtycoffeetalk.com, and learn yourself. That way you will never be able to make a mistake. Educate yourself, because we have done so many episodes for first-time home buyers to understand that. Even the mistakes are made by the repeat buyers because they trust just the professional and they ignore what they sign. So when you're on Awaz Entertainment, may I help you?
Yes, I was also asking questions about when a first-time person wants to buy real estate, how would it be like?
So there is a lengthy process. You need to go through a checklist to make sure you have a meeting. We are live with the consumer asking questions. There is a home buying process checklist that we have broadcast. I think if you go to realtycoffee.com, I have a special home buyer checklist and a program how to go through it. Most important thing is to create your budget. Make sure you understand the process. Make sure you select the team, realtor, and lawyer, and mortgage agent, lender, and create your budget to make sure the steps that you have to go through and navigate the process to make sure you have saving, you have a good credit report, you have already secured a mortgage pre-approval, you already know what the value of the maximum value of the property that you can buy. So you can check those things. It's a lengthy process, so please do call me. My number is 416-451-3489, and I can explain you if you are a first-time home buyer. So again, it's a lengthy process. It's an education process. You have never bought a property before, and you need to know how much do you need, what you can afford, how you go about it, area that is very convenient for you that you choose. You may not, depending on your income, you will qualify for a certain amount. You may have to go out of town. You may also have to consider that you have travel expenses, education expenses. There are so many circumstances. So most important is to go through the process. You can go to city-pro.net, buying process, and click on there. There are lots of tips there for the home buyers to check it out, or call me 416-451-3489, because it's a very comprehensive process that we can go through and educate you. So let's go back the importance of when you're buying a property. So you're using, in normal case, my agreement of purchase sale. If you're buying a freehold, we're not talking about condo, it's the same thing, but we're using let's assume it's a freehold and you're using a Form 100. So most important, you got the price that you offered, to make sure you verify that. Then you have a deposit that you agree to pay, make sure you have the money aside. And also you have created a budget with your real estate professional. And by creating that professional budget, that you make sure you stay within that budget. And there are so many things that I've explained to you. So then you put an offer. An offer has a completion date, irrevocable date. Within that time frame, the seller has to accept it. And when it's accepted, you have a completion date. That means it says that, clause 2, that this agreement shall be completed on no later than 6 p.m. on the day of so-and-so 2021, and upon completion, vacant possession of the property shall be given to the buyer unless otherwise agreed in the agreement. So that means unless you specify a different completion date, this is the date that you're going to agree. So then you have agreed. The important thing that I mentioned to you before, you have a conditional period. So first important thing is lawyer is to do the title search. And if there is a clause 8 title search, it has a date in there that you put in there. And it says there, the buyer shall be allowed until 6 p.m. on the date of the month of the year, is called requisition date, to examine the title to the buyer's own expense, and until the earlier or 30 days from the later of the requisition date, or the date on which the condition in this agreement are fulfilled or otherwise waived, 5 days prior to completion, to satisfy buyer that there are no outstanding work orders and deficiency notices affecting the property, and that the present use is residential. So that is going on. So this is important for you, that the lawyer need that time in the title search. Future use is going to continue to be residential, and title, that's again a lawyer responsibility to check the title, ownership. Clause 11 talk about closing arrangement, and clause 12 about discharging, document and discharge. When the buyer's lawyer send money to the seller, the seller's lawyer has to discharge the current mortgage using this money, pay out the mortgage and discharge the mortgage, and then transfer that ownership title back to the buyer, and the buyer's lawyer will register that in their name. A title is transferred once they receive the money, and then mortgage, which is lender is giving the money for the mortgage, that is being registered against the property with the new buyer. Of course, inspection you have, and you have to arrange insurance. Seller always have to make sure the insurance is always there until the day of closing. I always suggest people to keep the insurance on the closing date. Once the closing date is done, deal is closed, then you call your insurance. They can retroactively close, they give you the credit, and they cancel the insurance or transfer the insurance. But do not cancel until the deed transaction is completed. Many times the transaction has not completed in some time, and then you already remove in case of a fire, you are not protected. This is why it's very important. The other important thing is time limits. Time limit is very, very important. It's specified in the section Article 20 and Tender 21. So read those dates and understand what this means, what you're signing. And also legal advice, accounting advice, environmental advice. The party acknowledge that the brokerage are not expert in legal, tax, and environmental advice. We have experience. We can share the knowledge and we can advise you to seek other consultant services. So Section 8, services from others, Section 8 or Clause 8 of REBA, Code of Conduct, Ontario Regulation 58005, talks about it. Hire other people. You are not licensed. So why you are giving advice? And sometimes the professional by mistake give advice and they get in trouble, because if something goes wrong, the consumer will report to the RICO because they rely upon you. People have a tendency to make mistake. Avoid that mistake. Obviously, family law matters. If a seller is selling a property or buyer is buying the property, if it's a married couple or common law, spousal consent is required. So there is a declaration that has to be made by the seller that this being transferred without any restriction on the part of the seller. So this is important. And Section 27 talk about time and date. This is very important. These are very critical. Obviously, you sign it, accepted it, and then it goes to the conditions that you put in. Most cases that you have conditions, most cases there's lots of conditions in the agreement purchase sale. Because of COVID, because of shortage of supply, in October to this October, we have a 50% reduction in listing. Therefore, multiple offers. I'm going to talk about another offer where I was helping a fellow real estate professional, a friend of mine. He needed some help, so I kind of guided him, and we'll talk about after the break. So this is why the other important thing is appraisal. When mortgage, a lender give you a firm commitment, they're going to give you financing. They are firming up, they're going to give you condition, and you are relying on them. But they are basing this commitment on the information that you provided. I have a course that how to avoid mortgage fraud, and I delivered that through Mississauga Real Estate Board. I'm a chair of education committee, and this is where straw buyers, where somebody else is in front man and arranging the mortgage and taking the money, and real owners are somebody else. So there are lots of issues and concern, and especially for the buyer and also for the realtors. When you are trying to help someone to provide a shelter for living, make sure that person is capable of delivering paying the payments on a monthly basis. What will happen if they default after a certain period of time? Guess who get blamed? Realtors are the first one to be blamed, because they are the one who are center of this transaction. They come to you for guidance. You help them to create the budget. You help them to connect with the lenders. You also collect some referral fee. We talk about that in our BRA. So when you are collecting a fee for referral, so if something goes wrong or the buyer was not upfront and disclosing correct information or misrepresenting it, and deal falls apart, or the buyer failed to make payment 3-4 months down the line, guess what? The entire transaction we scrutinize. Buyer may end up reporting to Real Estate Council of Ontario complaining because they're a consumer agency. The real estate business real estate profession is regulated in the province of Ontario by the Real Estate Council of Ontario, who is mandated by the Ontario government to create consumer program to protect them, education, registration, compliance, and consumer protection program in real estate profession in the province of Ontario. So if you go to reco.on.ca, there is a complete section talk about consumer complaints, how to complain. So you can write a complaint to complaints@reco.on.ca. You can write, and you can call RECO if you have any issue. I will give you number 416-207-4800. Call Real Estate Council of Ontario. And when you are dealing with a buyer, a realtor, or a brokerage, you go out and check their name to make sure they're registered, because this is also a problem. We are approximately 93 to 95,000 realtors in the province of Ontario. And there are only maybe less than 300 FRIs in the province of Ontario, and I'm one of them. So this is why it's very important. You are making the biggest decision of your life when you're buying a property, especially first time. There are special programs. You get rebate from land transfer tax. There are federal government tax credit 5,000. If you're buying for new home through the builder, there is a rebate program, and you're buying through the builder. They claim a rebate from CRA. You will only know at the time of closing. When you go to lawyer, he will give you the fine and declare that this property is for personal use. Therefore, you will give that. They collect the money from CRA on your behalf. So this is why it's very, very important to understand. We have a first-time home buyer program that I have uploaded to realtycoffeetalk.com. You can check it out or call me, and I can more than happy to guide you and make sure that you don't make mistake. So at the end of the day, if you make an agreement of purchase and sale and you don't deliver, you have consequences to fail. Not only that you have to go now fight for your deposit back, most likely you will go to court. If it's more than the threshold for the small claim court, you're going to go to court. It's going to take, because of COVID, it takes maybe 2, 3, 4 years before something happens, and you're going to incur costs to the lawyers. And the best effort would be to ask your realtor to help to negotiate and navigate. You're not going to get the property back, because this case that I discussed today, the property price has increased $250,000. So the seller is going to go and claim that money, and maybe there could be some sympathy from the court that since you're already making $250,000, please refund the deposit. But this is up to the court to make a decision. It's on a humanitarian basis, but you have lost the battle already before the war began. So this is why it's very important that you hire a professional, qualified person, experienced, knowledgeable, who can protect your interests and educate you through this. We can provide you references for several buyers that we came to us, and they are very happy because we educated them. They were well informed. So when you sign this agreement of purchase and sale with a seller to buy their property, you're restricting their ability to sell someone else, because it's a firm deal. So the seller will also maybe buying another property. So there will be consequences for that. What would happen if the market condition had changed, the prices is going down, and you could be sued for damages? Not only you lose your deposit, you also be sued for any damages incurred by the seller to resell the property, and efforts are made to mitigate the losses. So for all legal advice, please contact a lawyer to get interpretation, because each circumstances are different, and you always get other advice as required under REBA, Real Estate Business Broker Act. It says that you seek advice from others. Don't give your opinion. We're going to take a short break and we'll come back. We are watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. See you soon.
पूरे ऑन्टेरियो में लाखों लोग अपनी कोविड-19 की वैक्सीन हासिल कर चुके हैं। हेल्थ कनाडा की मंजूरशुदा तमाम वैक्सीन महफूज और अस्पतालों, डॉक्टर्स के दफातर, फार्मेसीज और अवामी वैक्सीनेशन के मुकामात पर हासिल हैं। अपना किरदार अदा करें, अपनी वैक्सीन हासिल करें। 300 जुबानों में मदद के लिए ontario.ca/book वैक्सीन पर जाएं या 1-888-999-6488 पर कॉल करें।
आपकी रिहाइश ऐसी हो जहां जिंदगी की सहूलत मयसर हो, जो आपको बुलंदियों पर ले जाए, तो मिलिए रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के एक्सपीरियंस्ड रियल एस्टेट प्रोफेशनल अमित ओबेरॉय से। GTA में रियल एस्टेट मार्केट के हर अंदाज से वाकिफ। आपको घर खरीदना हो, बेचना हो या करना हो मुनाफे का इन्वेस्टमेंट, मेरे तजुर्बे से आज ही फायदा उठाएं। आज ही कॉल करें अमित ओबेरॉय 647-291-8102। Amit Oberoi, beautiful homes you can afford.
Zoc. Now it's fully renovated. Live catering, barbecue, tandoor, जलेबियाँ और fresh naan. तकरीब आपके घर में हो या घर से बाहर, Zoc is providing full service now, and Zoc has opened a new banquet hall, garden event center. आपका Zoc देखकर लोग कहेंगे, क्या Zoc है आपका? Call right now 905-625-7786. Zoc वालों के लिए।
डिक्सी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स और अप्लायंसेस पिछले 16 सालों से खरीदारों की खिदमत कर रहे हैं। हम लगातार 4 सालों से खरीदारों की पहली पसंद बने रहने का अवार्ड हासिल कर चुके हैं। हम किचनर्स, बॉश, वर्लपूल, LG, सैमसंग और जनरल इलेक्ट्रिक के ऑथराइज्ड डीलर हैं। 5 स्टार खिदमत का लुत्फ लें। हम आप सभी को टीवी सबसे ज्यादा रियायती दामों पर देने की गारंटी देते हैं। www.dixieelectronics.ca हमारी वेबसाइट पर जाएं या अभी कॉल करें 905-625-5900। सभी बहुत ही मुनासिब कीमत पर दस्तयाब हैं, जो आप बाआसानी से ले सकते हैं। At Dixie, we sell quality.
Come to Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. Today we are talking about consequences of failed deals. I just explained you before end of the break that when you sign an agreement of purchase and sale and you have removed all the conditions, 2 things you have to watch to make sure that you don't have a forfeiture clause in there in case you fail, that you don't forfeit to the seller. That's very important. Number 2, make sure you have a clause there in case, because of COVID conditions, you make sure that you have a condition there in case some delay on the part of the lender to deliver the funds. You are able to extend 1 or 2 days. There is a written clause which I read to you. It's very, very important. If you have any questions regarding this program or any issues in real estate or mortgage, as you know, I'm a principal broker and president of Canada Express Mortgaging, license number 13241. You can call me any question, anytime on my cell number 416-451-3489. Today, now I'm going to talk about a very important issue that I was helping another broker friends. Multiple offer. Many offer came in. I'm not going to identify. Multiple offer. More than 10, less than 15. Came in and seller decided to give counter back to one of the buyer and gave them a time to review their transaction. The buyer came back and recounter it. The realtor was in the process of notifying the other interested parties. Then the buyer again sent a accepted agreement of purchase and sale. After countering to the seller, the question will come, is the offer that was countered back to the seller, what is the status of the offer the seller gave it to the buyer? So I was of the opinion that once that offer is countered, the seller's offer is no longer valid because buyer has countered it back to the seller. Now the counter is the valid offer for the seller to consider. The realtor has notified everybody and that it was countered, but then now I have received an accepted offer from the buyer. So he's at a predicament because there are realtors who are saying that you are telling one side that you have countered, the other side you are saying their counter come back, and then now buyer has accepted it. So what's going on here? And I suggested to him to consult with the lawyer. My interpretation is when the buyer is countering back to the seller, the offer of the seller to the buyer, it doesn't exist anymore because now that offer is with the buyer, a seller, to accept the counter. It wasn't related to the money. It has something to do with the conditions. So I suggested to him that it's up to the seller now to solicit, to be fair to all parties, to go and complete that form that says that submit offer, day and time, so and so, and upload that form, URIA form, online, and then ask everyone to give you offer back again. And the person who counter also have send an acceptance which is not acceptable because he already on behalf of the buyer has countered it. And he also arranged a bank draft. So I asked him to create that form, ask everyone to give offer again. And fortunately, same buyer with the same money submitted the offer. Again, 10 or more offer came back, and the same buyer won the deal because he or she knew that what their offer was, and they completed it. So he was very happy that everybody's happy, it's very transparent. And I had him talk to the lawyer before he went to the second bidding process. This happened yesterday. So it is very, very important for us when we are dealing with multiple offers to make sure we are treating everyone fairly. But keeping in mind the most important section 4, best interests of your client. Even though we are trying to make sure we're not breaching riba, we are honest, professional, but we also have to protect the interest of our client. He could have dealt with differently, but by doing this repeat again, he avoided any infringement to the riba, and also he has a successful deal with the same person who first countered and then again gave an offer which was accepted and delivered the deposit. He brought the deposit with him because the buyer loved the property and they got it. So it's very important to build the consumer trust, to make sure when you have less than 15 buyers and only one will be a successful buyer, you're going to have 14 of them disappointed buyers. They're going to upset if you have done something that create a problem. People, they will complain. They need to pick up the phone, call RICO, or visit rico.on.ca and complain about it. Because RICO is a consumer protection agency on behalf of the government of Ontario. And we are regulated in the province of Ontario. That's why we have the highest ethical standards, integrity, and fairness, honesty in dealing with the consumer. So we raise the bar. we have to make sure that we respect it, the consumer, and we protect our consumer. So we follow the protocol, we also protect the consumer. It all depends on the skill set of the person who is dealing on your behalf as a consumer. So you have to make sure that you're following and the consumer protection and protecting their interest. Of course, you want to make sure the property that you're showing to your client, the buyer client in this case, is meet the criteria they propose in BRA. I always suggest to our fellow consumers and fellow realtors, please put the buyer's expectation inside the BRA in Schedule A. What type of property they want, where they want, how much they can afford, type of features, lot size, square footage of the home, number of bedroom sizes. You can put anything you want. And then the buyer agent, buyer broker will help you to find their property that meet that criteria. There are thousands of property in the marketplace, and you can be very selective of the property that you can buy. And also find material facts. This is very important. Section 21 of Real Estate Business Broker Act, Ontario Regulation 580/05. Find out what's wrong with the property. Search the data. Look at the Geo Warehouse. Look at the impact report. And search the MLS system. You have a ITSO MLS system. You have a TREB MLS system. Check it out data. Pick up the phone and find out and talk to the previous listing agent or a broker to get some feedback. This is why it's very important to have a network operation. Create a connectivity amongst fellow realtors to help each other. Also, when you are working for a brokerage, within your brokerage you have lots of professionals. Try to use expertise within the brokerage, within the department, your team, to make sure that you are delivering a valuable service to your client and you're not making a mistake. If you don't have an expertise in a certain area, you have no knowledge about it, you haven't done any transaction like that, no need to get panic. Talk to your fellow realtors, tell them to share some compensation and help you become a part of the team to make sure you have a good transaction. This is very, very important. Otherwise, you will have issues. When you are competing offers, disclosure is very, very important. You have to give disclosure if you're representing buyer and seller, or you have a relationship with you as a client with a buyer or a seller. Disclose it. There is a form. I have noticed many times realtors don't even put the disclosure, acquisition of the property or disposition of the property. They don't even put on MLS. Please do that, because it requires your signature and your broker record signature that you have disclosed that. This is very important. Disclosure is very important. So you have to do that and make sure you are fair and honest. Cooperate with the brokers. Respect your fellow realtors and be honest and try to be transparent, clear, and in a cooperative way, because we need to maintain and restore the trust of the consumer. Realty Coffee Talk is all about creating awareness, building consumer trust or confidence in real estate, promoting connectivity, talking to each other, connecting with people, and also promoting good ethics and business practices in real estate and mortgage financing. You're watching Realty Coffee Talk. If you wish to advertise on Awaz Entertainment, you will get a very special discount. When you advertise on Awaz Entertainment, you call Miss Samina Jameen at 416-786-9809 and tell her that you are a viewer of Realty Coffee Talk. For $500, you provide a video of 30 seconds. It will be shared on our huge cable and satellite network around the globe for 10 times a day for 30 days. You can't beat this rate. And if you are a builder, you are a lawyer, you are a real estate brokerage, a renovator, home builder, renovator, developer, lawyer, painter, plumber, or any real estate brokerage, you can use these services to benefit for you. Thank you for watching Realty Coffee Talk on Awaz Entertainment. My name is Tahir Qureshi. If you have any question regarding this episode, or any other question, you can call me 416-451-3489, or you can visit my website realtycoffeetalk.com and watch many episodes and provide your feedback, and don't forget to subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching. See you next Thursday at 7 p.m. Bye for now.